All right, should the Philadelphia Eagles sign DeAndre Hopkins after he was just released? This is Philadelphia Eagles Now. Happy Friday. I'm Chase Sr. Hope all of you out there are getting ready to have a fantastic weekend. Before we dive into all of this, and I'll relay my thoughts as well as what happened with Hopkins in Arizona, subscribe to Philadelphia Eagles Now. We have you covered with year-round Eagles updates, Eagles news, Eagles rumors, and Eagles analysis. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers, so if you want year-round content and videos every single day on the birds, hit that subscribe button right now. So what we're talking about here is DeAndre Hopkins getting released by Arizona today. Comes as a little bit of a surprise heading into the NFL draft. After the NFL draft, there were some trade discussions that were really starting to heat up with a couple of teams calling Arizona about trading for D-Hop, but because of the remaining salary on his current contract, that's why a lot of teams hit pause. And if you think about it, it makes sense now for those interested teams. Why pay him a lot of money when you have an idea that maybe he'll get released? Then you can sign him to a new contract, and then it's the Arizona Cardinals who actually have to pay a bulk of that salary for the 2023 season. DeAndre Hopkins, as far as his ties to the Philadelphia Eagles, we covered this earlier this week. He was on the I Am Athlete podcast, and he explained what he wants in his next team. He said, I want stable management because I've had all these general managers with the Houston Texans and the Arizona Cardinals of late. I want a quarterback who loves the game, and I want a top-tier defense because defenses win championships. Well, if you think about it, the Philadelphia Eagles have everything to offer DeAndre Hopkins. Jeffrey Lurie is one of the best owners in the sport. Howie Roseman is savvy, very intelligent, the best general manager in the game. If there's one thing we know about Jalen Hurts, it's that he loves the game of football. He wouldn't be able to go from being a 52% completion percentage guy to around 67% in year 3 from his rookie year if he didn't love the game, if he didn't like sharpening the iron and sharpening the tools in his toolkit. Jalen Hurts is a guy who likes to grind, get in the lab, and improve, and he's also polarizing in the sense that he brings the locker room together, and with his cool, calm, and collected nature, guys see that. It rubs off on the rest of the locker room, and I think that's part of the reason why the Eagles were so confident last year, because they knew they were led by Jalen Hurts. And then, for the Eagles' defense, they have one of the best defenses in the NFL, and heading into 2023, I think they have the best and deepest defensive line in football. They led the NFL with 70 sacks last year. That was 15 more than any other team in the league. The Kansas City Chiefs were second. You have Darius Slay and James Bradbury as your two corners. Some question marks at linebacker and safety, but you win in this league defensively with a pass rush. Of course, you want to be good against the run. I think the Eagles have improved in that area. And then you have to be able to stop the pass with that pass rush and also some good corners. You have Avonte Maddox, and Greedy Williams is a depth piece at this point. So everything that Hopkins wants in his next team, the Eagles are able to check that box. But if he wants a lot of money, forget about it. As compared to other top-tier wide receivers, DeAndre Hopkins has made $47 million in his career. It's not like that's a ton of money. So if he wants to go somewhere like, let's say the Carolina Panthers, which drafted Bryce Young, they don't really have a go-to number one wide receiver. They signed DJ Chark in free agency. He could go there and be the number one. He could go to a team like the New England Patriots, where him and Bill Belichick have always had this man crush on each other. He could go to the Kansas City Chiefs, and he could team up with Patrick Mahomes. He also said, in addition to what he's looking for in his next team, he'd like to play with Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. So that's 5 teams right there that maybe he's already interested in, because now he's free to sign with any team across the NFL. So today's poll question is this: do the Eagles need D-Hop? No, they have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith as the 1-2 wide receiver punch with Dallas Goedert, who's an excellent tight end. Yeah, the answer is no. They don't need him. But as a wide receiver 3, can you imagine what D-Hop would be able to do in this offense? Bye-bye, Quez. Olamide Zaccheaus might become your number 4, or Quez becomes your 4. D-Hop as your 3 with Dallas Goedert. How do you stop this aerial attack for Philadelphia? So, do you want D-Hop? S for sign, P for pass. His future with Arizona, it had been and come under question since the end of last year. He had a team high $30.75 million cap hit. That ranked tops among wide receivers in the NFL. That is the 7th highest overall among all players in the league. But here's the deal. By releasing Hopkins now, Arizona will save just north of $8 million in cap space, but they are set to take on a dead cap hit of $22.6 million. He had been under contract through the 2024 season. So if you were to trade for him, you'd have him under team control for the next 2 years, but you'd be paying him a lot of money. The Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, New England Patriots had been among the teams reportedly interested in pursuing Hopkins at the time via the trade market. There's also been a lot of conversation about whether or not D-Hop is washed. Is he getting a little bit older? For sure. His game does translate, though, as he gets a little bit older, if he's able to stay healthy, because he's a big-bodied wide receiver who's a 50-50 catch guy who can jump the ladder, come down with some of those contested balls, and also bring down some corner fades. But he also has a lot to his route tree as well. And in his 3 years in Arizona, he did have nearly 2,700 receiving yards, 17 touchdowns on 221 catches, including 64 grabs for 717 yards and 3 touchdowns last year. But he missed the first 6 games of the 2022 season because of that PED suspension. So even with missing those first 6 games, guy still had 717 yards. Does that sound like a guy who was washed? Another reason we're talking about the Eagles here is that I do believe that betting odds are somewhat relevant. They're important. And the teams with the best opportunity to land D-Hop for his next destination, Cowboys at 2-1, Chiefs at 4-1, Patriots at 5-1, Bills at 6-1, Eagles at 7-1, Ravens at 8-1, Giants at 9-1. So the Eagles, according to the odds makers, do have a little bit of an opportunity here in the betting market to bring in DeAndre Hopkins. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Would I be shocked if Howie Roseman pulled this off? Not at all. Howie Roseman likes to put his poker chips to the middle of the table. We know that he's one of the most aggressive general managers in the game of football. And Jeffrey Lurie and him have alluded to the fact that they think offense wins. You look at Super Bowl 52. It was an offensive shootout in which Philadelphia outlasted the New England Patriots. You look at the Super Bowl they just lost back in February earlier this year in Super Bowl 57. It was once again a shootout where both teams were exchanging blows like a heavyweight bout back in the day when Mike Tyson was in the ring. So offense wins, and if the Eagles believe that offense wins, why not stack up the offense even more so at that wide receiver spot, especially because Jalen Hurts' new contract extension isn't really going to start to kick in for a couple of years. So you can afford to stack the roster with some offensive elite playmakers right now to try to go all in on winning a championship. Your defense is set, your offense is set. This would be yet another move. And again, it's important to talk about when the betting odds do indicate that the Eagles do have a chance here. So the poll question, sign DeAndre Hopkins or not? S for sign, P for pass. Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe. Hope you all enjoy your Memorial Days, by the way. Thank you to all of our troops. Content still coming your way, even though we'll be off for the next couple of days.